Today I'm working with the Art Impression set, Got a Garden set number 5000, and it's got lots of cute little images here, but I made this one with the gentlemen who are excited about gardening and a few of their accessories. So here is the finished pieces after I cut them out, and you can kind of see how they compare to the illustrations there. And I'm going to start making my card base. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut a piece 4 1/4 by 11 inches using blue basis cardstock. And then I'm cutting another piece that's 3 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches. And these are going to be the primary pieces that make my fancy fold card. On the smaller piece, I'm going to score it at 2 1/8 inches and 4 1/4 inches. And my larger 11-inch piece, I'm going to score at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Now don't worry, you can get all these measurements at my blog post on this card, so follow that link in my video description and it'll take you there. So now that I have them scored, I'm going to fold them. Basically it's a zigzag sort of fold in both of these cases. So you can see with the smaller one, I'm using my Teflon folder because I really think it does a better job than other types of folders to get a good crease. And I really need and want a good crease in this case. So standing up, you can kind of see that Z fold. Okay, so now I'm going to work on all the different mats that I need for this card. So starting with this blue swirl piece, I'm going to cut this 2 inches by 3 inches. Now I'm using quite a few different patterns in this card, but I pulled all of the papers from the same paper pack. All right, this piece is going to be 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm also going to use another piece from this pad and I'm going to cut it bigger. This one is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And as I was mentioning, this is all from the same paper pad, so that means that they're going to coordinate nicely together. Now I've got a bunch of striped paper. I'm going to cut two pieces the same, 2 1/4 by 4 inches. So these are also going to be mats on that card, and so I trimmed it down to 4, and now I'm cutting again the two pieces that are actually 2 1/2 inches. The next piece is 3 1/4 inches by 4 inches. And finally, we're going to have 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. And then I can put the cutter away because all the mats are ready to go, as well as the card base. So this is the larger blue piece, the 11 by 4 1/4 piece. And then I'm going to take the largest red dotted piece of 4 5 1/4 and glue that in. And you get about 1/4 inch border around the entire piece. Doing the same with the center panel, and I'm just folding the card where the scores are, trying to get a better view of the margins I'm getting on all sides of that striped paper. It's a little hard to tell sometimes, and I want to get it, pretty even. And now finally my third piece, and I'm paying attention again to the tops of this, that all three pieces are at the same height, and that way everything looks neat. Now I'm going to prep the smaller blue panel for the sentiment, and I powdered it with a little bit of anti-static powder just on the last panel of it. And then I'm using Versamark ink and putting in the sentiment, another year older and still playing in the dirt. I think that's super cute. So I'm going to use white embossing powder on it, and this way you'll get a nice bright white sentiment on this dark blue cardstock. It's really sharp looking when it's heat embossed. And so I'll just use my heat tool to do that, and then I'm going to use just a little piece of leftover paper towel and kind of buff off all the excess powder. It will really show that powder on that dark cardstock, so you do have to get it off. Now I'm ready to put in the decorative cardstock that we cut earlier into this panel. So the first one, the larger one, is going to go on the left side, and then the other one is going to go in the middle. And again, I'll want to pay attention that these panels meet or are even at the top. And now that that's done, I can put this with the other piece and connect them together to make this fancy fold. To determine placement, I stack the two pieces together, and I can see where I need to apply my glue on the back of that smaller blue panel, and then I can stick it in. I'm just going to check to make sure that it is aligned properly, and it is. And then it's kind of a guesswork as to where to put the glue, so I'm matching my thumb there to the edge of the card panel so that I don't get glue too far. And then that will allow me to finish attaching the two pieces together, and we've got one now. Makes a nice little card base. So I'm going to work on a little mat for the center of this card. This is the smaller blue swirl paper and some more of that red dot paper that I cut earlier. And then I've got my characters here. I decided I wanted to put them a little bit below this mat because the blue swirl for me represented sky. So I wanted that to be above and behind their faces and mainly their bodies. And then I just basically held this in place, applied glue on one half of it, and then did the same for the other half. I did get a little bit of glue popping out of the edge there, but it wasn't a big deal. That's the great thing about glitter glue. It cleans up well, doesn't show on your paper, and it dries clear, so it's all good. And now I'm going to place that panel onto the main card, and you'll notice I don't center it based on the rectangle, but on the entire character's image. Now really the only thing left to do is put in the two little accessory pieces that I colored up, the gloves that I'll put down in the lower right and the tools on the top left. I would say that the next time I make this card, I probably would not put these accessories above or below that blue cardstock because they peek out a little bit on the sides. It's not a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind. And that finishes this card up. Well, I hope that you enjoyed seeing how this card went together. It's a lot of fun. And I would appreciate it if you did enjoy to please leave me a thumbs up and a comment, and check your bell next to the subscribe button. That makes sure that you get a notice when my next video comes up. See you later. Bye.